Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
In financial news, investors sold off stocks and pushed up gold to close at a record as a renewed worry about the world's banks caused a defensive start to the fall. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 107 points, or 1%, to 10,340, moving back into the red for the year and snapping a four-day rally that added 4.4% to the Dow. The declines were led by bank stocks after a journal report raised questions about stress tests conducted on Europe's banks last July. After a relatively calm few weeks, investors have begun to refocus their attention on Europe's debt woes and the challenges many countries face in re-energizing their economies. In U.S. news, BP shifted much of the blame for a rig blast that led to the United States' worst ever oil spill onto its contractors Transocean and Halliburton. In a report, BP defended decisions that U.S. politicians have said represented cost-saving measures that contributed to the explosion on the rig in the Gulf of Mexico. These include its much-criticized single-casting well design, its choice to use fewer centralizers when cementing the well, and its decision to replace heavy drilling mud, which was keeping the well under control, with lighter water. The report, conducted by BP's head of safety, highlighted 8 key features that in combination led to the explosion. Most of these factors would normally be the responsibility of either Transocean as a rig operator or Halliburton, which cemented the well. However, BP denied it was shifting blame and accepted that one of its representatives, in conjunction with Transocean, had incorrectly interpreted a safety test that should have flagged up risks of a blowout. Nonetheless, the report included some stinging criticism directed at its contractors. In international news, in early 2009, as President Hamid Karzai scanned the landscape for potential partners to run in his re-election bid, he was approached from an unusual corner, a bank. The president's brother, Mahmoud, and another Afghan businessman, Hassin Fahim, were shareholders in Kabul Bank, one of the freewheeling financial institutions that had sprung up over the past decade since the Taliban's fall. According to Afghan officials and businessmen in Kabul, Mahmoud and Mr. Fahim recommended Mr. Fahim's brother, General Mohammed Fahim, to become the president's running mate. President Karzai agreed in a stroke that co-opted his ethnic Tajik opposition. After the deal, Kabul Bank poured millions into Mr. Karzai's re-election campaign. Mahmoud, Karzai, and Hassin, drawing on Kabul Bank's resources, were able to enrich their families aided by tens of millions of dollars in loans. Now, Kabul Bank sits at the center of a financial crisis that has exposed the shadowy workings of the country's business and political elite, and how such connections shielded the bank from scrutiny. The panic surrounding Kabul Bank is threatening to pull down the Afghan banking system and has drawn in the United States. And it is driving a wedge between the Fahims and Karzais, the two Afghan political families that benefited the most. Now the financial arrangement is teetering on the edge of collapse.
When you've got a serious leak, it's time for Leakender 2000. It fixes any leak fast, no matter what's leaking. Just spray it with Leakender 2000, and in minutes, the leak is sealed. Look, we'll cut this garden hose with a knife, then shut off the water and spray on Leakender 2000. Minutes later, the hose is as good as new. The cut is sealed. Leakender 2000 is a unique compound that fills and seals any crack or separation as it hardens. Why put up with gushing gutters, dripping drains, wet windowsills, and rain-soaked RVs? Leakender 2000 stops all those leaks, and it's yours for only $14.95. Call now and we'll double your order. We'll send you this giant-size can at no extra charge. Order now.
To order, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-936-0300 or send check or money order for $14.95 plus $5.95 shipping to the address on your screen. Call 1-800-936-0300.
In entertainment news, James Bond fans with deep pockets will soon have the chance to get their hands on the ultimate piece of 007 memorabilia, as the martini-sipping Daredevil Spy's Aston Martin DB5 goes up for auction next month. The sleek silver sports car, driven by the British secret agent played by Sean Connery in Goldfinger, kicked off the gadget mania for which the Bond films, based on Ian Fleming's novels, later became known. The DB5 being sold is factory-fitted with gadgets including the machine guns, revolving number plates, oil slick sprayer, and and smokescreen that helped 007 outwit gold smuggler Goldfinger in the 1964 blockbuster. The gadgets are all controlled by toggles and switches hidden in the center armrest. RM expects the car to raise over $5 million at the Automobiles of London event in Battersea, South London on October 27th. That would be the most ever paid for a vehicle from a film. The DB5 is one of two originals featured on the on-screen in the two Bond films. The other, sold twice at auction, was stolen in 1997 from an airport in Florida and never recovered. The remaining DB5 is being sold by Philadelphia-based radio broadcaster Jerry Lee, who bought it for $12,000 in 1969. Proceeds will go toward the Jerry Lee Foundation, an organization dedicated to solving social problems. At Elmhurst Hospital Center in Queens, a place that is home to 2.3 million people from more than 100 countries, lactation consultants spend extra time explaining to Bangladeshi women that the yellow breast milk they produce right after birth is not dirty. Female obstetricians are always on duty overnight at the hospital's maternity ward in case a Muslim woman arrives in labor and does not want to be treated by a male doctor. At the diabetes nutrition classes, where participants are mostly from Latin America, diet plans incorporate items like guava paste, plantains, and squash. As more immigrants crowd its waiting rooms, Elmhurst Hospital is joining a growing number of hospitals in New York and across the country that are going beyond hiring interpreters and offering translated paperwork and are adopting practices intended to improve care for an increasingly diverse patient population. Doctors and nurses are interviewing religious leaders, visiting cultural centers, and even traveling abroad to better understand their patients. The lessons are redefining traditional notions of healthcare, not just in immigrant hubs like New York, California, but also in places like Storm Lake, Iowa, a city of 12,000 that has been transformed by an influx of Hispanics who work in the area's meatpacking plants. In tech news, Hewlett-Packard sued to block its former chief executive from joining rival Oracle Corporation as a senior executive, alleging that Mark Hurd's hiring breaches his exit agreement and will lead to a transfer of its trade secrets to a competitor. The suit, filed in the Superior Court of California in Santa Clara County, seeks an injunction against Mr. Hurd and unnamed others who helped him join Oracle, and asked for unspecified damages. Mr. Hurd is violating and will continue to violate his legal obligations as a result of his Oracle appointment. HP also asked the court to appoint a special master to regularly review Mr. Hurd's compliance with his confidentiality agreement. An HP spokeswoman said Mark Hurd agreed to and signed agreements designed to protest HP's trade secrets and confidential information. HP intends to enforce those agreements. In a statement, Oracle CEO Larry Ellison said that his company and HP have long been partners, but by filing this vindictive lawsuit, HP's board is acting with utter disregard for that partnership, our joint customers, and their own shareholders and employees. He added that the board is making it virtually impossible for Oracle and HP to continue to cooperate. In green news, the Center for American Progress has ranked the top 10 states for policies that promote energy efficiency. The report cautions, however, that even those states on the list haven't fully tapped into the power of using less power. The CAP, a progressive advocacy organization headed by former Clinton Chief of Staff John Podesta, says its report card is intended to highlight the state regulations and incentives for energy efficiency that are working today and push for a national policy to retrofit buildings in the U.S. and create jobs. The report was co-authored by Energy Resource Management, a consulting company. So who's on the list? These 10 states are the leaders in creating energy efficiency markets: Connecticut, California, Maryland, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New York, Texas, North Carolina, New Jersey, and Ohio. The report's authors warn that no state has fully developed the potential of their energy efficiency market to create clean energy jobs, let alone the federal government. What policies make for great leaders? There are 10, including measures for renewable portfolio standards, renewable energy credits, and penalties for non-compliance with energy efficiency standards. The report estimates that retrofitting just 40% of the residential and commercial building stock in the United States would create 625,000 sustained full-time jobs over a decade and spark $500 billion in new investments to upgrade 50 million homes and office buildings, and generate as much as $64 billion a year in cost savings for U.S. ratepayers.
Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.